Okay folks, so definitely going to be the last vlog of the night. I'm smiling because kind of remember saying that a couple of times before. Anyway, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the last one of the night. But I just wanted to mention that because in the first video that I put up today, which was sat in here explaining about the singing videos that I did whilst I was in the park today. I'm not sure how they're going to look, and I'm not really happy with them. So I'm thinking that at least for now, because I'm still looking into it. What I'm thinking of doing is once I've finished uploading all the rest of the videos that I've done today, once I've done all that, I'm going to go back to the singing and dancing videos and see if I can do something with them that is a little bit better than what they are at the moment, because they're quite naff, to be quite honest. I don't like them at all. I really don't like them. I sound horrendous, I really do. You know, I like to say, even to my ears, do you know what I mean? It's like I hear myself, you know, when I play it back and I hear myself, and it's like, whoa, it's painful. It's painful. So, like I said, I'm trying to think about how I'm going to put them all and try to put them together in a way that with maybe some music rather than I want to do it rather than, you know, try and do it a bit more interestingly, because I'm also noticing that, you see, sometimes I can edit a really good video sometimes. Not, and again, I'm not saying that, like, you know, oh, I can do it as an award-winning flipping video editing or something. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I've got bog standard flipping. What's the name, for crying out loud? It's not like I've got some sophisticated flipping editing gear or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Just saying that I know that I can do a much better job at times, but for some reason I just can't get in the same frame of mind right now. You know, where I'll really put the work in and really do something that looks much more visually entertaining and so forth and what have you. And I think partly that's down to the fact that, like I say, at the moment, you know, sadly to keep harping on about it, but that's the reality of the situation at the moment, is that because I'm not eating, I haven't got any bloody food until Monday, and even then, you know, it's not going to be like I'm going to be able to, you know, get a ton of stuff anyway, but because the bills need to be paid and I need to keep this online, you know what I mean? I need to keep my, you know, otherwise I won't be able to put videos up on my YouTube, because otherwise my internet gets cut off and then that's it, no more YouTube, you know what I mean? So, you know, all those things have got to be paid. My gas, my electric, I've forgotten what the other thing is now. I'm sure there's something else, but it completely escapes me for a moment. And none of those are cheap either, that's the thing. And somehow I've ended up, well, maybe not the most expensive ones, but certainly not the cheapest ones. So that's another thing I need to start looking into, is to try and think about changing my energy supplier, you know what I mean? You know, with British Gas, and, you know, I don't think it's cheap compared to what I was paying when I was the first, what's name was Scottish Power, because that was the original provider of this flat when I first moved into it. That's how I got connected, because my sponsor, my friend at the time, well, he still is my friend. Anyway, Alan suggested to me, because he'd been through the same process himself, he suggested that I get the, you know, because there's always mail in an empty flat, you know what I mean? I mean, even now I get mail from people that used to live in this flat years ago, do you know what I mean? And for some reason I'm still getting mail from these, you know, for these people. Anyway, not from these people, for these people, whatever. Anyway, so anyway, so the thing is that, like I say, you know, there was a ton of mail in the thing, in the hallway there, and Alan suggested, like, you know, some of them might be an electric bill, gas bill, whatever. Find out who the provider was at that point, and it just saves a lot of messing about, blah blah blah. and it was Scottish Power or something. I think it was Scottish. Was it Scottish Power? Yeah, I'm sure it's Scottish Power or something. I'm sure of it. Anyway, so I'm pretty sure it was Scottish Power. And they were the providers on the what's next. So I just phoned them up, getting the details from the previous gas bills or whatever, and say, right, I'm a new tenant, blah blah blah. This is my details, and then just go on from there, sort of thing. And it was so much simpler. And in fact, Alan kind of did most of that for me anyway. He kind of phoned them up and sorted this all out, and it was pretty straightforward. Do you know what I mean? And so, you know, generally in life. And I think I'm more so than perhaps most people. I hate lots of bureaucracy and filling out forms, but then again, most of us do. But I think I've got a particular pet dislike towards it. But anyway, so the thing is, like I say, Alan did most of that for me anyway. So, you know, it was really straightforward and simple and easy to set up. And, you know, it was, from what I remember, although I can't remember exactly, I think it's, don't quote me on these numbers because I can't. I mean, flipping out, going back nearly 7 years now. I will have lived in this flat 7 years this October. It'll be 7 years come this October. So, no, hang on. No, it won't. No, that can't be right. I moved in October of 2009. So October 2009 to October 2010. That's 1 year. So then from 2010 to 2006. No, hang on. I'm useless with figures and numbers. See, that's why don't quote me on numbers. Anyway, I think, yeah, no, it's 7. This will be so it'll be 7 years. This October 2016 will be 7 years. Yeah, so I will have lived in this flat for 7 years. So when I, like I say, first got the bill thing sorted out, blah 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 blah. Once I got that sorted out, I remember my bills being round about, like 13 quid for my gas or something, and then like 18 or no, 18 for the gas and like 13 for the electric, something like that. I can't quite remember. And that was before I went on the direct debit thing, and that was when I was paying by card at the post office when I was still on job seekers allowance and all that sort of thing and what have you. Whilst I was still getting all those benefits, so I'd go to the post office every fortnight. I'd get my money, and before they actually passed the money over to me, I would pay all of my bills there and then. So my gas, my electric, my telephone, and so on, sort of thing. I'd get all those things paid off. And like I say, because I was doing it by the card, and I remember that, but even that started to slowly increase. You know, it started off quite low, like I say. It started off with, I don't know, like I say, about, you know, as I say, I just quoted a couple of numbers, but it could be something like £10 for the electric and 13 for the gas. I can't honestly remember exactly, but round about those sort of figures. You know what I mean? Not like astronomical necessarily. And that was, in fact, let me think about that. I don't know if that was even weekly or if even that was fortnightly, so it would be even less than that a week. Do you know what I mean? So we're talking like £7 a week or something, whatever. It was really low, do you know what I mean, to start off with. But gradually over time, and I can't tell you exactly how long a period of time it took, but by the time I ended up switching to British Gas, because I had a British Gas geezer come knocking on the door one day, don't know why I fell for it, but I did. The spiel, the what's name, and how much you paying now, sir? And oh, it's how much? It's £18 for the thing, and it's £13. Oh well, we're British Gas, you see, and he did this flipping calculation thing on this little electronic pad thing that he had. You know, like they do, you know, they bamboozle you, and if you're not really, I wasn't in the mood, and do you know what I mean? I didn't really want to be entertaining this geezer, do you know what I mean? But you know, you try to be polite. You're not going to say, oh, on your bike, whatever. So I'm politely listening to his spiel and I don't know. I just thought like, oh yeah, hang on, maybe I should change them. It sounds like I'll be cheaper. And again, for the first little while, it was. Do you know what I mean? It was like, because Scottish Power, it had gone up with them up to I can't remember exactly how much, exactly off the top of my head. Like I say again, numbers are not my strongest suit, but it had gone up significantly from when I first started with them. And then when this British Gas guy, quoted sort of even less, I don't know, again, silly numbers like I don't know, £5 for the electric and £10 for the, whatever it was, you know what I mean? I can't remember exactly, but, I'm like, wow, God, blimey, that's, going to save a bit there. So, yeah, I guess I fell for it and went for it. But now, you see, like my gas now, if I'm not mistaken, because again, that started creeping up, started changing that, and especially when I went direct debit, as soon as I'd done the direct debit thing, it started increasing more and more. So I think now, again, don't quote me on these things, but I think somewhere on the lines of, I don't know, 28 quid for the electric maybe, and I don't know, sort of like maybe 30 quid for the gas. But again, I'm not sure. But again, this is monthly. You know what I mean? Mind you. You know what I mean? So it's monthly, not weekly or anything like this. It's monthly. So again, if you break it down in terms of a week, then again, I suppose it is still relatively. And like I say, don't quote me on these numbers because the thing is that sometimes I'm not very good with numbers and stuff like this. I'm one of those people that don't have a head for figures. So my numbers could be, they're not. I don't think they're way off, but they might not be spot. Anyway, the point is that over time that the money it has increased over time. And so, like I said, to get back to what I was trying to say, I mean, I'll get 300 quid this month. I think it's just over 300 quid, but it's not. It's only like £303 or £4 or £5 or something or whatever. I can't remember. And that's got to last for a whole month. So once the gas, the electric, and my online again, that's another thing that's gone up. And then thinking about it as well, that I can understand the possible reasons why my gas and electric might have increased, because compared to when I first moved in, all I had was maybe, I didn't even have no, I did have a TV, I think. Ooh, I can't, anyway, whatever. But over time, I've got more electrical goods, and there's more things that are on that, and I'm one of these people that and I've got like multiple plug socket things, whatever you call them, with various things plugged in, but they're not actually switched on, but the switch at the side of the plug sometimes on, some of them is on anyway. So yeah, I guess you could argue that my electricity consumption has probably increased over time anyway, sort of thing. So whatever. But oh god, I didn't. It's funny how I go into what things about stuff and I don't intend to necessarily. So yeah, suffice to say that, because like this happened last month when I got round about the same sort of money again, just round about 300 quid, just slightly over, not by much, but like say £5 or over, whatever. And I noticed, because it was paid on the 15th, and that's when all my bills get paid on the 15th. Everything's set up for the 15th on the direct debit. So this is going to be the 14th that I get paid. So it's going to be a day before they're due. So I've got to be really mindful about not taking too much money out of there, because I might end up again, like has been happening, having to pay bank charges because I go overdrawn. Anyway. Now the thing is that, like I say, what happened last month was that I got it on the 15th. The bills got duly paid on the 15th, but again, going back a month back before that. Anyway, again, it's getting complicated for me, so I'm getting confused. But anyway, so last month there was 50 quid left that I could draw out once all the bills had been paid and bank charges and what have you. Yeah. So once all that had been paid, I was left with £50 to last me for a whole month. So, and the thing is that I noticed when I took that, because obviously I'm thinking, well, I've got to buy food for both my cat and myself and what have you, and so I drew that 50 quid out because I thought, well, I need this to buy some food. But then apparently, you see, something hadn't actually been paid that I wasn't aware of. This is how it got. Like I say, it just starts getting so complex. My head just wants to shut down because I don't grasp it. But anyway, suffice to say, the thing is, it went overdrawn again, because apparently something did get paid, or at least this is what it said on my bank statement thing, on the online thing anyway. Saying something about that, something hadn't been paid, blah 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 blah. So then I was thinking like, well, maybe I should have left that 50 quid in, because I don't think it was, I don't know what it was, to be quite honest, off the top of my head. Because there's a couple of things from Lambeth as well that keep popping up. £8 to Lambeth, and it's nothing to do with my rent, because I've never managed to get my rent on direct debit yet. That's something else I wanted to try and get sorted out. But there's something from Lambeth that they're taking £8 from me on a direct debit thing. I have no idea. That's another thing I need to sort. Oh God, too many things to fucking sort out. Anyway, so like I said, tomorrow, not tomorrow, sorry, it's Saturday today, Sunday tomorrow, Monday, at some point, well in fact I'll do it in the evening, because I've got work tomorrow, on Monday, so I'll be delivering the training. I'll be back at the bridge school on Monday, so it's early start as usual for me, because I like to try and avoid the mad freaking what's the name that happens at Brixton Tube Station, especially around about 7 o'clock onwards. You know, this myth about it being a rush hour. There's no such thing as a rush hour. It's rush from, what was it, I don't know, 7 in the morning, I would say. I mean, even 5 in the morning. The first tube train is 5:30 in the morning. And even when you get to the tube station for that time, you'll be surprised how many people are there, because of, like, presumably, I don't know, shift workers or whatever. I don't know what's there, but you know, lots of different people are already there. You know, if the train's half full, even at 5:30 in the flipping morning, you know. So anyway, you know, at least it's not as crowded, it's not as packed. But you wait until 7 o'clock, 7 in the morning, and then there's just like teams and teams and streams of these people, just masses upon masses upon masses. They're getting off the buses, they're getting off the mainline train, getting off there, because that'll be the first tube station that they can get to get into central London, blah 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 blah. Do you know what I mean? And so, you know, it's just a nightmare. So I like to go as early as I can, but 5:30 is a little bit too early, see, because then it'll get me to the bridge school for round about 6 o'clock in the morning. And for those of you who have watched my videos, you'll know that I've done a couple of videos there at that time in the morning. And when I've got no, mind you, I will have some money on Monday for once, so I could always sit in the Costa's coffee shop and get myself a Costa's. Way, I haven't had one of them for it. You see, that's another thing. You know, in some ways now, maybe when I was, you know, when the money was good, when I was getting lots of money, and I say lots of money, I'm not saying like I was getting begging. Do you know what I mean? It's compared. You know, it's all about comparisons. It's all relative to what you're used to, or where you know where you are, or whatever sort of thing. But thing is that for me, when I first started doing this, delivering the train, and first went self-employed and working for Emergence, you know, I was making about £1,000 a month, and for me, that's a fucking hell of a lot of money. Do you know what I mean? That's like freaking heck. I think I've just made it go blurred. I've just seen it go. It looked like my face on there. Yeah, I can't tell exactly, but I think for a moment the camera went out of focus. Stop doing that, camera. Why are you going out of focus all the time? Looking at it as if it's got a mind of its own or something. You know what I mean? I'm looking at it as if it can hear me. Oh God. Anyway, sorry. Right. So, get back to the thing. I've forgotten completely what I was saying now. Oh great, I've completely distracted myself. What the heck was I saying? Oh no. Oh great. What was I just saying? Oh. Yeah, something about trains and oh yeah, coffee shops and Costas and money. Yeah, because like I said, now that the work's dropped off and making like £300 a month, which is a massive drop, obviously. Do you know what I mean? That's like, what is that? That's 800 quid drop in it. Do you know what I mean? 800 quid drop in income. So anyway, thing is, like I said, I was looking at, in terms of when I was getting, that £1,000 a month, I could have a Costas. I could have normal. In fact, to be quite honest, I was probably overdoing it in some ways, because I was having like 2 or 3 lattes a day, sometimes even more than that. Sometimes, depending on what I was doing and where I was and all the rest of it. But at least 2 or 3, because they were my favourites now. To be quite honest, I used to do the Americano, but then somebody turned me on to lattes. Because I was putting like 6 sugars in Americano because it was so strong. Because I like coffee, I do, I got the taste of it, but thing is, I can't drink it unless it's really sweet and milky. And like, so I was having like 6 sugars in it just so it wouldn't taste that bitter. And then somebody turned me on to, like I said, suggested trying a latte, and now I don't have to put half that in. Do you know what I mean? It's like I can put 2, maybe 4, depending on some, because even that can vary sometimes. But I can cut down on the sugar that I put in it, because it's quite sweet just because it's made with milk, obviously. Anyway, so like I say, I guess in some ways I was having a latte and having my Costa's coffee on a regular basis, daily basis virtually, for granted in a way. Do you know what I mean? I was kind of like, it became a regular thing, and something I suppose at some point I stopped really thinking about as like a luxury thing. But now, I guess now when I think about it, because like I've just realised on Monday, if I do decide to go to the train station that early, there's a Costa's shop right outside Caledonia Road tube station where I'll be getting off at. Just walk up to the road to the bridge school. I can sit in the Costas because they open around about 6:30. Can't quite remember exactly. We're around about 6:30. So roughly when I get there, hopefully they'll be open, and it's usually dead quiet. You've got 1 or 2 people in there, whatever. And so I'll dive in there and spend a couple of hours in there, catching up on some reading. Relevant reading, that is, not just like comic or newspaper or whatever. I mean, stuff to do with homelessness and all the rest of it. But anyway, I can catch up on some reading and just slowly drink. I'm really talking myself into this, actually. I'm really thinking about this now. I'm really talking myself into it. I'm thinking, oh God, yeah, that sounds so nice, lad. God damn it, wow. I'm really looking forward to that now. I've planted that seed in my head now. That's it. Oh man, come everything else. Do you know what I mean? Just as long as I get to that coffee shop, sit there and have my latte, that's it. Do you know what I mean? The world can come to an end for all I care now. It's like, God, that's ridiculous. Oh no. Oh God, it shows you the power of like things, doesn't it, in some ways? You know what I mean? The power of addiction, if you like. You know what I mean? If you want to put it in that way. I mean, I don't think it's physically addictive necessarily. I don't know, actually, is it? I don't know. Caffeine, maybe. I don't know. I'm not an expert. Because like you hear all sorts of things, don't you? 1 minute it is, next minute it isn't. Blah, 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 whatever. I suspect that you can't actually get physically addicted to it necessarily, but definitely psychologically, no 2 ways about it. Do you know what I mean? Because last night, just thinking about it now, it's kind of like, oh God, I can't wait for that latte. Ah! Oh no. Oh God. Right, anyway, now I've completely... That was not what I was going to be talking about. I did have something I was going to talk about, but it's completely gone out of my head. I might have started talking about it and then completely sidetracked myself, and I've completely forgotten what the heck I was going to... I think it was something to do with the videos, wasn't it? Oh yeah. Oh, this is ridiculous, isn't it? It's like... Do you know what I said about me being a storyteller, and so it even gets on my own nerves because I sidetrack myself and I go off on a completely different tangent, and we'll end up somewhere else. You know what I mean? We'll end up somewhere else completely from where we're supposed to be going, We'll end up somewhere else, and then I'll think, oh, hang on, wasn't we supposed to be going that way? Oh, God. Right. Anyway, right. Sorry. Oh, God. Whatever the heck it was about the videos, for the life of me I can't remember. Oh, yes, it was about the... It was about the dancing, singing video things, and I'm saying that I might not put them up tonight, especially because of after this video. I mean, how long's this one now? I don't even know how long I've been talking now. How the heck do you guys... I don't think anybody watches the whole of these videos. Right. If you guys have managed to get to the end of this video, I'm going to do like an Adam thing here. I'm sure he won't mind, but this is just a one-off really, because... but anyway, I'm just curious, because it's all well and good me sitting here and waffling on about stuff I want to waffle on about. I'm quite enjoying myself, to be quite honest, and can't you tell? I'm quite enjoying myself, and I feel quite relaxed and quite happy, and it's a complete and utter distraction from the stress and the realities of what's going on in my life at the moment, sort of thing. So I guess from that point of view, for me, it's really important. Do you know what I mean? Because, like I say, you know, I feel relaxed. I'm doing something I enjoy. It is creative in a sense, creating these little videos. Now I know that they're boring a lot of the time. You know what I mean? It's just me waffling on. Sometimes not making any sense at all. But you know, the thing is that, like I say, you know, for a few moments in my day, I feel relaxed and happy and calm, and the rest of the world can go and take a run and jump for a little while. Do you know what I mean? Just whilst it takes all that stuff out of my head for a bit. Do you know what I mean? And I like that. Do you know what I mean? Obviously. Do you know what I mean? Who wouldn't necessarily? Just get away from the doom and gloom and the what's the name that's in your head. So, but then I start thinking about how does it look from your point of view, the person watching. Because don't get me wrong, right? I've watched some other channels sometimes, and I'm actually subscribed to some of those channels as well as just randomly finding them, where people, like myself in a sense, are waffling on about whatever they're waffling on about, and they're perfectly fine to do so. And some are a bit more interesting, I think, than mine, and some are not, and some are about the same, or whatever. But I must admit, there are times when I'm watching this person and I look how long the video is and I say, like, wow, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes of this person waffling on. I might watch for about 5, 10, maybe. Just, again, I must admit, it depends on what they're talking about, and if it interests me, and if I find it fascinating, and whatever. So, yeah, I would like people... who my subscribers, I would like you guys to give me a what do they call it? A heck it. That's it. Right, let's do an Adam the Woo thing. Give me a heck it. I made it all the way to the end of this video. So please do that, so that I get some sense or idea as to how long people are watching my videos for, especially these ones, especially these type. The ones where I'm just sat here in my house just waffling on, making absolutely no sense at all. And then that way at least I get a sense of like, oh, I think people are not that happy with watching my videos. Right, or at least for that long anyway. Right, okay, so heck it, I reached whatever the time is, because I unlike with Adam or whatever, the other people, they've got a thing and it tells them, I think, how long the video has actually been going for. Even looking on that screen, I can't tell you. I can't see it. And if there are numbers on there, I would need to get my glasses and I'd need to have a really good look, because I can't see any indication of how it's long. And yes, I've got a clock over there. And I can't remember. I didn't look at it to start with, so I have no idea. But it's got to be at least 20 minutes. I'd hazard a guess at 20 minutes. So heck it at the end of the video, so at least I know that you've been watching. Alright, thanks guys, take care and see you soon. Bye for now.